Good morning, football fans. It is Monday, November 22nd, Thanksgiving week. This is the NFL Week 12 look ahead. Of course, we're going to talk about tonight's Monday night football game. We got 3 games coming up on Thursday and a ton of action this weekend. But good morning, Paulie. What's going on, bud?
What's up, Duke? Yeah, another weird week in the NFL, right?
It's like every week. I know we love the parody of the NFL, but I would like a little bit more predictability. But that's why we have Paulie here to crunch some numbers and use his game theory. Before we get to that, we should mention that we are brought to you by Betcha. Go download the app right now if you haven't yet. Super fun, easy game, prop game. Overs, unders, yardage totals, rushing totals, passing totals, all kinds of things you can parlay together there. It's not just football. They have basically every single sport over there. Our guy Ken Lee's been killing it. Jason's up like 12, 13 units, something like that. Can't stop winning over there. And, of course, all those are available for free over at elitesportsbetting.com, which, if you are not a member, you should be. By the way, use code ELITE over at Betcha for up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Also get Fantasy Guru for free for the rest of the year. Tons of good stuff over there. But use code TURKEY. We're going to give you free early access to our Black Friday Turkey promo code, 40% off any package over there. Everyone's basically killing it across the board. Paul, you're killing golf, up 37 units last year. I'm up 7 units in soccer. Siege is up 16 units. NBA. Rob's up 4. NFL. Jeff Mans is up 20 units. Tyler's up 11 units. Everybody's winning. So come join the fun. Use code TURKEY, EliteSportsBetting.com, FantasyGuru.com, or EliteFantasy.com. Works on all 3 sites. Get you 40% off. So we talk some football, Paulie.
Yes, sir.
Any comments about yesterday before we move into Monday Night Football that you want to get off your chest, or just roll through?
Yeah, it was kind of a disappointing ending with the way Dallas and KC game didn't go over, because it would have been kind of a clean sweep for me. I was sitting 4-0 on sides and totals for the week, and that was my biggest play of the week because I ended up getting 4 points of value on it. We talked about it last week on the show, going over 52.5. It closed at like 56.5, and then it's just a complete dud in terms of scoring. So, but that just kind of sums up the NFL this year, where you kind of get some ass backwards results. But we move on to this week and see how many touchdowns Jonathan Taylor can get this week.
Well, there we go. The Bucs are 11.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just saying I had Taylor as a prop to score a touchdown yesterday, and I wish we would have bet him to score 5. So.
Well, there we go. Let's get to our last game of Week 11 here. Buccaneers 11-point home favorites here, taking on the Giants, 49.5 on the total. And, yeah, I mean, we've talked about it over and over again, kind of weird results. Are we expecting anything crazy here? Any value that we see in this line?
Yeah, this is one we talked about last week. Played this a week ago on Sunday. Played it at plus 12.5. Then the line moved down. I make the game 9.5. So I would play it at 11. I would not play it at 10.5. This is one where, the Giants are getting a little bit healthier. Tampa Bay still banged up on the injury side. Giving more than a touchdown and field goal, as we've seen in the NFL of late, is not a good recipe for success on the betting side. So I'm just sitting there with plus 12.5 with my normal 1 unit bet on it and seeing what happens.
Just a normal bet. And like you said, you already got some closing line values. So if you tuned in last week, you're already feeling good about that, regardless of the results. So let's move to Turkey Day, Paulie. Maybe one of the best sports days of the year. This is the time when you get full. You drink a few, beverages of whatever choice you have, sit down, back-to-back games. And we start off with the Bears at the Lions here, 4-point home dogs, 41.5 on the total. Justin Fields banged up yesterday. I think it was the rib injury. Haven't seen a final verdict on if it's cracked, if he's going to miss some time. We expecting Fields to be back for this game, and any value here?
Yeah, it's still undetermined who's going to be the quarterback for both sides of this game, actually, right? We don't know if Jared Goff's going to be back because he was held out for this game for Boyle instead, who really didn't do anything. Detroit just pretty much ran the ball every play with DeAndre Swift. And then on the Bears side, we're not going to sure if it's going to be Dalton or Fields. But in all honesty, both quarterbacks rate out very similarly in terms of how it affects the spread. So I don't expect a ton of movement. This thing's going to move between 3 and 5 for the spread pretty much all week, regardless of who's quarterback for each team. But at this point, it's kind of a stay away for me.
Stay away from there. We'll sleep in a little bit and get fired up for this 4:30 game. Raiders at the Cowboys, 7-point home favorites here, 50.5 on the total. And these teams combined for 22 points yesterday, both coming out losers. Bounce back spot for the Cowboys here. Everyone's pretty high on them. And then only 9 points against the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, the problem was in that game was they had no one to throw to, right? Amari Cooper being out, and then CeeDee Lamb got hurt and didn't really play the second half. So Jack all of a sudden dropped back and then realized, like, I don't know any of these guys I'm throwing to, right? Because, sure, you got Gallup coming back, but I don't know if he's yet fully, back 100% back in the swing of things. So this is one to make the game 6.5 and 49, so slight lean to the under. Not enough to bet it. Plus, let's be honest, no one's going to want to bet and watch an under on a Thanksgiving Day game. So no one's going to be, even if there's value there, you're not going to be betting that, right?
Yeah, if you're telling me under, even though it's a high total, it's probably the time we grab some turkey and maybe fill up on the wine there.
Yeah.
Obviously, Amari Cooper still out with the COVID and CeeDee Lamb concussion protocol. Who knows if he'll be back? So maybe those issues will continue here, relying heavily on the run game. How about we go to Thursday night? Bills at Saints. Saints 4.5 home dogs here, 46.5 on the total. And this Bills team for me has just been up and down. Horrible losses. Jaguars, we talked about that, and then come back and just blow teams out. What are we expecting here to close out Turkey Day?
Yeah, I do have a Turkey Day play for you here. So taking the Bills. You can get 4 in about half the books out there right now. I would take that if it's there. If you see a 4.5, 4.5, I would wait for it because there will be a 4 available in the market in most spots here. This is one where I think it's a perfect buy low spot for the Bills and kind of a sell spot at the Saints here. The Saints game yesterday was a bit misleading, the final score. They were getting blown out by Philly and then just scored a bunch of garbage points late to make it somewhat respectable. Obviously, you can say the same thing with the Bills versus the Colts. But the Bills was pretty much all turnover based, right? Josh Allen had 3 or 4 turnovers there. It's a very sloppy game by the Bills. If you look at the Bills, how they've played all season, they're a lot better team than the Saints here, who can't move the ball with Trevor Siemian at all. Alvin Kamara still banged up, may not play this week again. This is just a complete talent mismatch. Sure, the Saints have a decent defense, but I don't see how the Saints are going to score more than 10 points against this Buffalo defense. And at that point, if you're telling me I'm getting Buffalo -4, Buffalo's going to put up 24 points on the Saints here. So I don't see how the Saints are going to score 3 touchdowns to stop the Buffalo from covering.
Yeah, Saints 22 points there in the fourth quarter. And, of course, Jonathan Taylor had his unbelievable day yesterday against the Bills. Would love to get Kamara back, but a lot of question marks there. So, yeah, I'm stuck on 4.5. I just checked 2 books that I have, both 4.5. So I'll wait for that 4 and then bang it. Love it, Paulie. Thank you. Yeah. How about we move to Sunday? Let's throw out the 1 o'clock window here. Obviously, Buccaneers playing tonight, but they lead us off here at the Colts. Colts 2.5-point home dogs, 51 on the total. Colts obviously on fire. Talked about the big day yesterday there, and pretty quick turnaround here for the Bucs.
Yep, a little bit of short rest. I make the game 2-50, so really unfortunately, no edge here. This is going to be probably the best game of the weekend to watch, but we're not going to have any action on it.
Yeah, let's move on then. Let's talk about the Jets at the Texans. Texans 3-point home favorites here, 44 on the total, and of course we got Tyrod back. The Ty God, he's back. I don't hate the Texans here. 3. Can we plug our noses a little bit here and take the Texans?
I'm going opposite side here, believe it or not. I took the Jets +3 already. Yes, that's the ultimate plug your nose bet. Believe it or not, this is a little bit just based kind of on what we saw yesterday, right? We saw people are going to see, oh my God, Texans beat the Titans. Oh my God, they're playing good. No, they got really manhandled yardage-wise against them. It was just Tennessee just couldn't stop turning the ball over and pretty much donated them that game. Tyrod was very sloppy, whereas on the Jets side, Jets have been able to move the ball. They just haven't really been able to capitalize on anything. You also may have Wilson back at quarterback this week instead of Flacco. Even if Flacco is a starter here, I make this game closer to pick'em than I do at 3. So I'm taking the Jets +3 on the road here. The ultimate plug your nose bet. But really, I mean, it's just really a disgusting game, but it's what my numbers say and what my eyes see based on watching the games. Yes, I'm saying take the Jets getting 3 points.
Trust Paulie. That's crazy. Tyrod Taylor versus Joe Flacco. What year is this? Unbelievable. Yeah. Taylor yesterday, 14 for 24, 107 passing yards, but did what they had to do to get that W. So, all right, I guess we're taking the Jets. How about the Eagles at the Giants? Giants 3-point home dogs here, 46 and a half on the total. Playing tonight, obviously we'll wait for injuries and all of that, but initial impressions on this line, Paulie.
Yeah, if this dips down to 2.5, I'll be playing the Eagles. I make the game 4. Just write down not enough value on it. We'll also see, maybe whether the Giants can, escape Monday Night Football here without any injuries. But the Eagles will look good. They've been able to move the ball. Jalen Hurts is clicking really well with that offense right now, and they should be able to exploit the Giants secondary very well in this matchup. So that's why I kind of had the edge in the Eagles. But once again, not enough big enough edge, especially this time of year. You don't want to be betting, 1-point edges. Making sure you have a big enough sizable edge to where you can make some money.
Well, we just talked about them. The Dolphins get the win over the Jets last week. Panthers, Cam Newton's back. Christian McCaffrey's back. They did not get the win. Here they are, the Dolphins, 1-point home dogs, 42.5 on the total. I believe the lowest total of the day. Do we get some points here?
I make the game 2 and 43. So once again, right on the numbers, which isn't surprising because NFL is the most efficient market out there, and by the time you're more than halfway done through the season, a lot of times the opening numbers are pretty close to spot on what it is, the market consensus in terms of what most of the sharp people have as their numbers. And that's why typically you see a ton of plays in the first maybe 4 or 5 weeks. And then as the year goes on, you may only have, 3 or 4 plays a week just because there's just not that big of edges out there on the openers.
Man, I would love to take the Panthers there. McCaffrey maybe gets another week under his belt, feel a little healthier. Cam Newton, no turnovers last week, still couldn't get it done. But yeah, we talked about this early in the season. Grab them then because the market gets so efficient late. How about the Titans at the Patriots? 5.5 points favorites here for the AFC champions? 44.5 on the total. The Pats are a wagon. Do they keep it rolling here?
So this was my biggest edge of the week. This was bet on last Wednesday. Put it on the site for all the subs, put it in the Discord channel, gave everyone alerts about that, talked about it with Siege a little bit. Siege also betted at the number we're talking about. We bet at New England -3 on the look-ahead line. Talked about it on Lunch Money last Thursday with Austin, Pilar, and Ricky. It was just a look-ahead line that just didn't make any sense because the Titans, we knew the 2 previous games, moved the ball a bunch, but won the game, or didn't move the ball a bunch, and won games kind of ugly. And the Patriots just have been absolutely steamrolling. And then the Patriots went out Thursday night, looked absolutely amazing, right, against the Falcons. And the Titans come in and laid an egg against Houston. So not surprising. This game moved up to 5.5. I make the game 6.5. So at this point, there's really not much value. We kind of missed the value there at 3 if you didn't bet it already. But if it does drop down somehow to 4.5, I would play it. But other than that, it would be a stay away for now. In a game that's really a big mismatch because the Patriots defense should be able to shut down Tannehill and company. And I'm not sure how the Titans are going to stop the running offense of the Patriots here.
Sure, yeah. Run heavy attack there from the Pats. Yeah. You've already got your closing line value. I'm looking at a couple books here. I got I'm up to 6 already. So we're moving the opposite direction. So looks like we'll probably just stay away at this point. If you didn't check out the show, unlucky. Make sure you do. It's right here on the same channel at Elite Wins over on Twitter. How about the Steelers at the Bengals? 4.5-point home favorites here. 46 on the total. And obviously coming off the huge win, 32-13 over the Raiders and a home favorite here. We know the Steelers just had a crazy shootout. Can we get over 46, Paulie?
I make the game 47.5. So it is a slight lean on the over here and make the game 4.5. So divisional matchup here between 2 teams that know each other very well. Bengals looked absolutely amazing, but was that because the Bengals are one of the best teams in the AFC, or is it because they were playing the Raiders? Right? We don't really know. Steelers played the Chargers, were down most of the game, and then just kind of rallied back all of a sudden, right? They were kind of getting almost dominated when they were down 2 touchdowns at that point. So that's kind of one of those really hard to judge how they actually performed this past week. So I'm staying away from this game here. There's plenty of other games to look at this week.
Yeah, Joe Burrow, less than 30 pass attempts for what seems like the first time in forever. Joe Mixon was rolling yesterday. Let's move to the toilet bowl then. Falcons at Jags, +1 home dogs here, 47.5 on the total. This is a battle for the bottom. By the way, the Jags walking wounded. They had like 5 guys leave the game yesterday. What can we get any value on this game? Got to be the Falcons, right?
I make it +145.5. So almost worth a bet on the under. if we can somehow get a 48 out there in most of the spots in the market, I'm going to be playing under. Other than that, it's a stay away. But yeah, this is going to be two teams that are very turnover prone and kind of sloppy on offense. That's what kind of leads me to having that edge on the unders. That their conversion rate, especially in the red zone, is not good for both teams. I think you're going to see a bunch of field goals here if they do move the ball. The only reason you're kind of waiting for the 48 is with all the turnovers, you may have some short fields. But yeah, this is going to be probably the least watched game of the weekend, I would think, for most people.
Yeah, this is that in that 1 o'clock window where you're like, there's another game.
Yeah.
It's the Falcons.
It's actually the battle for relegation. So it's all good.
It really is. It really is. Yeah, Falcons obviously shut out last Thursday night against the Pats there, and the Jags just struggling. Okay, so we'll wait to see if we can maybe sneak an under in there, and just hope it doesn't have any points. Let's move to the 4 o'clock window, Paulie. Chargers at the Broncos, plus 1.5 here for the Broncos, 49 on the total. And Chargers pulled one off last night here. Huge win over the Steelers. We know they can get up and go. Can they stop this sneaky little Broncos offense?
Yeah, I make the game 2-49 here. So pretty much right on market here. Chargers are getting eviscerated by the run here. Broncos should be able to run on them here. And that's the only reason why I don't make this total any higher. I think Denver's going to be they tend to be a little conservative here. It's going to be a lot of short passes and runs, which are going to keep the clock running. And then the other side of the ball, the Chargers should be able to move it against the Broncos, but I don't know if it's going to be via like the deep passes that we're so used to the Chargers being doing. I think you're going to see a lot of action with Keenan Allen underneath, which means the clock's going to be running incompleted passes, and that's why if you just look at the game, you're like, well, Chargers, they keep 60 points in games. It should be going over. Well, hold your horses. It's all dependent on matchup here. That's why we're kind of holding off here.
Hold off on that one. How about the Rams at the Packers? 1 point home favorites here, 49.5 on the total. Kind of a curious line at first glance, but then you think Rodgers got the toe injury, just lost his left tackle yesterday. A lot of question marks for this Packers offense.
Yeah, I actually make the Rams a slight favorite here. Not betting it yet. Might wait for some injury report news about the Rams later in the week. Not entirely sure how healthy the Rams are, even though that the Rams are coming in off of a bye here. Just want to see the injury report on the Packers side from yesterday's game because you said there is some injuries there as well. But yeah, Packers without Aaron Jones just didn't look as good on the rushing side. Sure, they were able to throw to Devontae Adams, against Minnesota, but I think the Rams will have a better chance of shutting Adams down than the Vikings did. And if you can shut Adams down, who else really is an offensive threat for the Packers? And I think that's going to be the issue in this game. Rodgers not being, 100% sure. They came back and rallied against Minnesota, but it's another thing. Minnesota's up 2 touchdowns in that game at a point. So it's really really going to be tough. But this is going to be probably the second best game of the weekend. So definitely one that everyone's going to be tuned in and watching.
Interesting. You make the Rams a favorite. I was just thinking about it a little bit more here. Obviously, got a couple new faces in town, right? Odell Beckham Jr. We got Von Miller also getting integrated into that defense there. Maybe they get a week to kind of settle themselves in. Tons of question marks for the Packers. I might have to go against my pack. And grab the Rams there. But let's go to the Vikings at the 49ers. 2.5 point home favorite here. 48.5 on the total. Look, I know the Niners did all right yesterday, but I cannot get over Jimmy G just missing a wide open receiver. Did you see this? A wide open guy comes in the flat, just zings it to his right towards the sideline there. But 30-10, handle the Jaguars. Maybe a little stiffer test here.
Yeah, I make the game 2-46.5. So once again, almost the bet on the under. If this probably hits 49, you'll see me play it. There's a lot of games where it's just teetering right on the edge. One where if you're DGen, you're probably playing that. But we're just going to wait to see if we get a little bit of extra value there because I do think this number does close a little bit lower. Because I think both these teams are going to go with the heavy rushing attack here. Niners love to have ball control. We saw this game against Jacksonville here, right? And anytime that Niners are playing either, as long as they don't get down a bunch, they just run the ball, right? Because they're just going to get 4 or 5 yards and then have Jimmy G throw a 6-yard pass, run the ball 4 or 5 yards, and they just keep their drives alive. Their drives are not these short, 4 plays, 70-yard touchdown drives. They're like 12, 13 plays, 65 yards, and then a field goal or a touchdown. And that's going to be hard to get to 49 points doing that because, honestly, Minnesota can do the exact same thing. Right. Because I think San Fran's going to be playing a little bit covered, have their safeties a little deep here to avoid Jefferson going over the top on them. I think you're going to get a lot of passes underneath and you're going to be allowing Dalvin Cook to run the ball a little bit in this game, which is why I kind of lean under for now, but we're going to see where that number goes.
I might just take it. I might just say screw it and take it. Because I can see an absolute kind of slugfest in the trenches there. Deebo Samuel with 8 carries yesterday and the touch. Not used to seeing him back there, but I like that. Could be an under there. Got it fired up, ready to roll. Let's go to Sunday Night Football. Browns at the Ravens. -4.5 here for the Ravens. 46.5 on the total. I love this game every single year, and we get it on Sunday Night Football after Thanksgiving Thursday. What do we got?
Yep, I make the game right here at -4.5, so the spread's right on. Total, I don't think I could really make a number here without knowing who's playing for both teams. Ravens have a ton of injuries right now. So do the Browns. Sure, Lamar Jackson was sick. We expect him back, but we really don't know right now. So I don't want to get involved in the game on either side right now because of that. Same thing on the Brown side. Baker Mayfield's still banged up. They might even start Case Keenum this week. I really don't know at this point what's happening in both sides of the ball. So whenever you have a lot of unknowns like that, just stay away. Try to get more clarity in the injury report as we go throughout the week.
Yeah, seems like a bit of a high total considering all
the Browns going under every game, right?
Yeah, it's right. Just across the board, unders. That's what we're recommending over here.
Yeah,
that's the anti-Barstool Sports. Let's go to Monday Night Football then. Seahawks at the Washington Football Team. 2.5-point home dogs, 47 on the total. And by the way, it did just come across Jenkins, torn ACL, out for the year. Packers left tackle. Unfortunate there. That's kind of what we anticipated, but just got confirmation. All right, Seahawks at the Football Team. 2.5-point home dogs. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to take the ugly play here. I'm taking the points here with the Washington Football Team here. This is one where I think people are pacing their bets in this game based upon the Seahawks of the past 5 years. The Seahawks this year are not the Seahawks of old. You look at how they've played this year. They've struggled in almost every game. They can't score points. Now, albeit I know Washington's defense has not been good this year, right? But Seattle can't move the ball. They finally scored in the fourth quarter against Arizona. A touchdown. It was their first touchdown in 2 games because they didn't score one against the Packers. Couldn't move the ball against the Cardinals. Packers defense and Cardinals defense aren't like a top 5 defense league. They're okay defenses, either average, maybe slightly above average. I just don't see how the Seahawks can be favored in this spot here. I make the game pretty much Washington -1. We're getting 2.5. Not a massive edge, but it's a big enough edge for me to bet here because I think this number is going to move throughout the week. Washington's offense has been able to move the ball, just been terribly inefficient. Heineke's been able to, run that unit pretty well. I think they're going to be able to score on Seattle. We just saw Colt McCoy just score a bunch of them. We saw the Packers just kind of walk all over them in the week before. And I know that was a low-scoring game, but they just did whatever they wanted to and scored on them, right? And we've kind of seen it throughout the year. The Seahawks just really haven't been able to stop that many people. And I don't get how they're favored in this matchup.
I don't either. And I think last week was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. Because I think even on this show, I was like, hey, Seattle at home, no Kyler Murray.
That line, once Kyler got ruled out, that line skyrocketed. Seattle was getting 2, and then it closed 4.5, somewhere around there.
I believe
so. It moved almost a full touchdown for Kyler being out, and then of course Seattle it's kind of dump trucked, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm with you on the football team side. If you can get 2.5, which this was available at DraftKings just before the show, go grab it because I'm already checking a couple other spots. It's already down to 1 that I'm looking at, and we got Duke Fan Zone says hi. Check this out.
Yeah. Even if it drops, if you can get money line at anything plus money, plus 100 or better, I think it's still worth the bet. So
there we go. So we got a couple unders you guys can take a look at. We got a Thanksgiving bet, thanks to Paulie, and of course, grab that football team if you can. The higher the number, the better. But any final words for let the folks out of here on this beautiful Monday, Paulie?
No, just take a look on the Betcha or in Discord to see if any bets are added throughout the week. As you obviously mentioned on here, there's probably 3 or 4 games where I'm just barely away from making any bets. And then we're going to have lunch money this week will be on Wednesday with Pilar, Austin, and Ricky. We're going to talk through all the games, especially the Turkey Day games, and let you know if any other value arises there.
Always a fun show. And like Paulie mentioned last week, they gave out the Pats, 3.5?
-3 gave out in there. Gave it out as
-3.
as my best bet, something to bank for the next week. So
there you go. That pay for all the Turkey Day treats. So that's going to do it for us. Make sure you download the Betcha app. Use code ELITE for your first deposit up to a $100 match. And we're giving out a little money, 40% off any package across all 3 sites: Elite Fantasy, EliteSportsBetting.com, and FantasyGuru.com. 40% off when you use code TURKEY. And it's just turkey, not the exclamation point. I shouldn't even done that. TURKEY, no exclamation point. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks so much for tuning in. For Paulie, I am Duke. For EliteSportsBetting.com, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in. Adios.